Hi, my name is Julia, and I drew portraits for many, many years at the Portland Community Boys and Girls Club of Southern Maine, right there on Cumberland Street. Maybe you'll see some of your friendly faces in the background. And I so enjoyed drawing the kids week to week and hearing about how their days went and what they learned in school that day. Today, I'm going to teach you how to draw a face. So you want to get a pencil, hopefully with an eraser, and a nice stack of paper to draw on. So here we go. First, you're going to start with a nice oval shape. Then you're going to draw two lines perfectly bisecting that shape in each direction, kind of like so. So it kind of looks like a weird target. So right down the middle in both directions. Then this is the hardest part, okay? You're going to make 4 little dots across the middle line, and they're going to have 5 even spaces. So 4 dots with 5 even spaces between it. It is the hardest part, so I'll do it and you guys can see it. Okay, see how there's 4 dots with 5 even as possible spaces. So this one goes across the middle. What do you think those are going to be? They're going to be the eyes. So then you draw some nice almond shapes, ovals, whatever. Nice almond shapes in the two middle ones right here. Then, for fun, well, let's draw one more dividing line that's right below, that's perfectly divides this lower section into 1/2. Okay. Let's draw some eyelids. So a lot of mistakes that beginners make when drawing faces are they involve the eyes, and they make no eyelids. And so when you see someone who doesn't have any eyelids, they look kind of freaked out like this, like, what happened? But if you look around, look at these other kids' faces, they all have beautiful eyelids, and you don't see 100% of the iris, what the colored part of your eye. You never see it fully unless someone is really not in a good mental state. So let's draw some nice eyelids above and below, because we can't forget about our lower lids. They hold the eyes. So see how I drew some other lines that go inside of our larger eye shapes. And you may think that they look like, oh, the person's squinting, but no, it's just way more realistic. Then we're going to draw the eyeballs, what we call the irises, in the middle. Oh no, they disappear. And do you see how, again, you're not seeing a perfect circle of that full iris. You're seeing it hidden by the upper and lower eyelids. Then we can't forget about our pupils that go in the middle of our irises. Now you do see 100% of them. Of course, sometimes, like right now, I have a nice light coming in and bouncing off of the top of my irises right there. So that's always fun to capture, but we'll do that later. Okay, now let's work on the nose. So I'm glad you guys are doing this in pencil, because we'll have some guiding lines and then we'll erase some later. But then everyone touch your nose. Everyone has a big ball here, no matter what types of nose you have. Everyone has a bulbous part and then two little balls for their nostrils. So I like to draw one larger ball, and then two side balls. But let's do a trick. If you draw lines coming down from the insides of the eyes, they are going to perfectly frame the nose, the two smaller balls on the sides of the nose. Is that true for everyone? No. Look around. There's all different kinds of noses in the world. But just for beginners, sometimes it's helpful just to have a basic guideline of how to shape the nose. And so you can draw these guidelines down that help you determine the width of the nose. So it goes the big ball and then the two little side balls. And then of course we all have nostrils where the air comes in. And so we're gonna make some darkish little holes almost below the nostrils. And then we have, what cool kids get pierced is this little piece of skin hanging down that separates the nostrils. So I like to draw that in and then connect the sides of the nostrils together. So they actually end up looking like a pretty realistic nose. Sorry. Keeps disappearing. And anyway, under our nose is some of the darkest parts of your face. So what's the darkest part of my face? Definitely down here, under the nose, this shadowy section under our eyes, the shadowy section under our eyelids, the shadowy section under our lips, and of course our chin. So it's okay if it's really dark under the nose, like I have it, because guess what? It's in the shadow and you're not gonna be able to see that much definition. So darker is actually better. Then we're going to draw one more dividing line between the nose. A tiny little dividing line right there. That's going to be the mouth. And then we'll draw tiny little and very, very light pencils, a guideline down from the pupils to the mouth. Because if you look at my face, you see the edge of my mouth lines up almost perfectly with my pupils. See that? Now, is everyone's face identical? Does everyone, maybe some people have wider mouths, maybe some people have narrower mouths. Sure, but right now we're just doing a very generic, boring face. So the side corners of your mouth can roughly divide, or roughly align with where the pupils are. See how I drew? Oh no. Okay, then we're going to draw how the mouth kisses itself. So where the upper lip and the bottom lip come together. And I like to draw a little M. Do you see, like a lot of kids here, some have, oh, this fellow has a nice M where it goes up and down and up and down. Who else? Where else do we see a nice M? He has a nice kind of a U shape where it goes across. Let's see. I like, it doesn't matter what shape you do, but I kind of like doing. Let's see, any other examples? She has a nice up and down again. Oh, here's Kefa. He has a nice up and down and up and down. Then you can lightly echo that at the top to show the upper lip. Then I love, everyone has gorgeous lips. So I like full voluptuous lips. And I'm gonna draw a nice bottom part to those lips. And if you see, it's kind of roughly the size of the nose. You see that? It's almost like my finger width for the bottom of the lip and the fullness of the nose. Now, what's missing? Eyebrows. I like to draw the corners of the eyebrows being a little bit more narrow than the beginnings of the eyes. Is that true? Let's see. Yeah, most kids, my eyes are more closer together than others. And so I think most people's eyebrows start a little bit closer than where their eyes go. So I like to draw kind of like 2 dots, and you see how they are closer together than the eyes. And these are the beginnings of the eyebrows. Then this is a beauty trick that I remember back from the 90s eyebrow tweezing era. You draw a line that goes from the corner of the nose through the eye, and that's when you know that's where your eyebrow should stop. Then you just connect them, and no matter, maybe you're going for a certain style, a shaggy eyebrow, a really refined eyebrow, whatever you want to do. I always like doing what I don't have. I don't have big defined eyebrows. Mine are kind of light, so I always like drawing dark eyebrows. Cool. Now, well, let's get some eyelashes. So the eyelashes are unique. This guy's, let's see. Oh, she's got some really beautiful eyelashes. But see how they just kind of like poke up? They're not like long, crazy. They start from the inside of the eye and just go down. I have some mascara on so you can see some little, just do, 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 do. Let's see, no one here. Oh, she's got some great eyelashes on the side. So what I do to start, just draw some lines going up and down, basically. And then you can determine, is it a man or a woman? Maybe you want to have more luscious eyebrows, although anyone can have anything. As eyelashes go to the outside, they kind of curve outward because they're not straight up in your line of sight anymore. Then I like to draw the top of the forehead. So if the top of my head represents the very, very top of the tippy top of the face that we're drawing, I want to make a line that's kind of like 75% of the way up from the eyebrows. And I'm going to make a little mark there. Maybe that's like 80%. So there's a nice person has a nice tall forehead. And that represents basically the forehead, where the line of where the forehead meets the hair. So we'll just have that. Now, if you notice, this person's chin is kind of looking a little small, right? I like to cheat then and draw Another circle right below the mouth to extend the chin. Sorry. So kind of maybe drops like a centimeter or so below where our oval was. Then you can draw in the jaw. So let's see, we've got some really heart-shaped jaws where it goes down to a pointy chin. You can have a really angular jaw. My jaw is kind of very slopey. It just goes really far down. The opposite of my jaw would be a really square jaw where it would come down and you'd almost have like corners, really strong angular corners. So again, I always like drawing what I don't have. So I'm gonna draw this jaw with a little bit more of a cornered approach. You see these strong jaws. And all these lines that we're making can all be erased. So when we're done, you're going to erase any line that doesn't make sense to be there, that's not really part of the face. And I really haven't decided if this is a man or a woman yet. That's cool. Who cares? And so if you really want to make a man, you would make a much thicker eyebrows, maybe a little bit lower to the eyes, and you would drop the jaw. You'd make the jaw much longer. Okay, and then we have the neck. So the neck, if you look at my face, so I have a very dainty ballerina neck, and that means it's going to be much more narrow, but it's still outside of the eyes, right? So the neck, if you draw straight lines up from the neck on my face, the neck is still wider than the eyes. I see a lot of beginner drawers draw really, really tiny necks where if you draw lines up, they would intersect the eyes. If you want to draw a really big, beefy superhero football player, your neck, it would be like out to here. It's almost like beyond the ears. So, so it's up to you, but make sure that your neck doesn't go any more narrow than the eyes. This person's looking very serious, whoever this is. Sorry about this. I can't seem to get them in the shot. It's funny that this technology is choosing what is part of the face and what isn't the face. It's amazing. Okay, here's my least favorite part, the ears. Why don't I like drawing ears? Because they're boring. They don't tell anything about a face. You could switch my ears. You could replace my ears with someone else's ears and no one would notice, I think. So I have tiny ears, but ears are generally in line with the eyes and in between the nose and the mouth. Now let's say if I'm looking down, look at my ears. They are all of a sudden above my eyes and way above my mouth. The bottoms are way above the mouth. But if I look up, all of a sudden the top of the ears are in line with my mouth and almost with my chin. But so if I'm straight on, like this portrait is that we're drawing, the top of the ears go across and they touch the sides of the eyes and somewhere in between the nose and the mouth. And what do they look like? They're just really like half moon or like moon-like shapes, you know. Some beginner drawers will be like, or make kind of Dumbo ears. But no, mostly ears straight on just look like little discs. The important part is to know where to begin them. So my ears will start at the top of the eyes and go down. And again, this doesn't have to be like, it can just look like this. It doesn't matter. Now, one thing you might be looking at is symmetry. So a more beautiful face is super symmetrical. Denzel Washington is, I guess, is like super symmetrical. Who else? Who else is symmetrical? I bet Kim Kardashian's probably really symmetrical, where if you put a mirror up to their face, the other side of their face would look identical. This eye is a little higher than that eye, and I know my nose slopes a little, but for when we're drawing a face, why not try to go for beauty, as in all these kids around me who have very beautiful faces. So I like to correct anything that I see that looks a little bit out of place. There, I just fixed the eyes to make them look more symmetrical, look more like each other. Now we're actually ready for the hair. So it's kind of decision time if you want to make it a boy or a girl. I still think I like this androgynous person. What does androgynous mean? It means it could be very fluid, gender fluid. It could look either way. But let's see. I'm gonna draw some hair. I have a big fat marker, and that makes drawing hair a lot easier and quicker than a pencil, certainly. Okay, she's turned into a woman. That's cool. Kind of like my hair, actually. Her neck is still, it's a little too big for me, actually, so I'm going to slim the neck. You can do that just by drawing some, even just hair pieces that come and flow in. Okay, now what do we see on all these kids? We see nice shadows underneath the chin, the nose, the eyes. I'm going to draw in some nice shadows underneath where I see the light is just not hitting. That's what I did. I drew shadows underneath this lip, underneath the eyes. I could even go further and just shade underneath the eyes entirely, make it a nice smoky eye. Ooh. This is very emo, it's just very intense. And then even see how I have some more shadow underneath my nose, is on the ball of the nose. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of darkness underneath that nose just to make it look even more round. Okay, you see the eyes are still a little piercing, they're a little wolf-like. So I am gonna shade them in, but keeping in mind, I know Japanese anime style is to have big white dots so that they look shiny and almost like they're ready to cry at any moment. So I will try to keep in some white dots. I'll give this person brown eyes. Oh. Ooh, very, very beautiful. So this person really looks a lot more human than they did before with white irises. And then right now, to me, the lips still seem a little starkly white. So this is when a pencil is a lot more helpful than a dark marker, because let's see, we'll shade the top of the lip, because the top of the lip, if you look at these faces, the top of the lip is darker than the bottom of the lip. Why? But the bottom lip catches the light comes down and it bounces off of the top, making it lighter. Almost all of these kids have dark upper lips and lighter lower lips. And you can decide if they're wearing lipstick or not, so that can determine your shading too. She's interesting. I don't know. I really wish I had a lighter marker for this part, but that is cool. work with what you got. Okay, and then with that, all we have to do is name the person. Oh, and they could have little cheekbones too, right? So that's also, so for a really glamorous face, men or women, glamorous men or women faces have really defined cheekbones. So it's, I think, a little helpful to add some, just a little bit of shading on the sides here. Wow, and I think with that, she's ready for a comic book stardom. You might ask, well, wait a second, Julia, did you use this process when drawing all these faces? No, I've been drawing faces for so long that I can sit across from anyone and have these proportion principles in mind when I draw their face. So I'm not, if you asked me to draw your face, I wouldn't sit down and do all the steps that I just did. But these steps helped me understand the basic principles and relationships of a face, so that you get the architecture right, and you can, and anyone can draw a face if they know these basic principles. So it makes drawing more complex faces, or all the variation that you see around me, much easier if you understand the basics. So with that, yes, let's see, her name will be Belinda. Belinda. Do you have to name your portrait? Belinda, Belinda. Yay, so I hope that was fun, and I miss all you guys. I hope everyone is staying safe, and I hope you learned something today. Okay, I miss everyone. Stay safe and keep learning.